Hi everyone, my name is Caleb and I'm the Behavioral Health Intern at HealthPoint and CTAC. And I'm going to be talking a little bit today about how to manage some added stress and anxiety levels that may be present with some of us due to this current pandemic. And I'm actually going to be talking about a topic that most of us are probably pretty familiar with, and some of us actually probably know a lot about. And the topic is called exercise. And more specifically, I'm going to be talking about aerobic exercise. And now you're probably asking, well, Caleb, wait, why are you talking about exercise? We already know that exercise is something healthy and that's something we should be doing. And we know that it's sometimes really difficult to get it into our lives because of how busy we are. Well, one, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about why exercise can be beneficial, especially when we have added stress and anxiety in our lives. And two, I'm going to be talking about some ways that we can incorporate it into our busy lives and busy schedules without necessarily needing to add something huge into our life that may be an added stressor. So, one, I'm going to talk about how physical activity is beneficial for us. And when I talk about physical activity, I talk a lot about aerobic exercise, actually, in terms of physical activity, which is any activity that involves increased oxygen consumption and increased heart rate. And so, common aerobic activities are running, brisk walking, bicycling, high intensity interval exercises, jumping jacks, things that require increased oxygen consumption in the body. And why are these things good for us? Well, actually, when we do aerobic exercises, it puts us into a stress response in a controlled manner. And this is interesting in terms of stress reducing techniques because most techniques we talk about actually involve ways of reducing our stress response or bringing us out of our stress response and into a relaxation state. And the cool thing about aerobic exercise, it actually exposes us to a stress response and it exposes us to it in a positive way, what we call good or positive stress responses in the body. And in part, this is a positive stress response because our brain releases growth hormones when we are doing physical activity, as well as cortisol. And it also releases endocannabinoids, which help us release endorphins, which make us feel good and actually help us protect ourselves or provide a positive buffer to psychological stress in the moment and later on. And physical activity or aerobic exercise is one of those cool things that the more we do it, actually, the stronger that response will be and the longer that response will last. And research has shown pretty significantly that daily practicing of aerobic exercise actually creates a nice buffer to psychological stress and increases our resilience with our own stress response. And you might be thinking, well, that's all great. I don't have time in my day to do 30 to 60 minutes of physical activity. Well, that's the second thing I wanted to talk about quickly, in that we don't have to actually chunk out our exercise into large, big groups of time that we may not have in our busy lives. And recent research by Kaiser Permanente actually shows that breaking down exercise into smaller chunks of time, even 5 to 10 minutes, can have a positive benefit on our well being. And it actually shows that 5 to 10 minutes spread out throughout the day, maybe doing it 3 to 4 times, has a similar impact, especially on psychological stress, as exercising for 30 to 45 minutes all at once. And some ways that can be added into our day without having much of an impact to do that are taking 2 to 3 minutes, standing up, stretching, going for a walk, trying to have walking meetings, or setting a timer at the top of each hour to stand up and walk around the clinic or walk around your home if you're working from home to get a little bit more activity in your day. And if you actually do that once an hour for 8 hours of the day, you'll actually have a decent amount of time that you're spent up and walking. A lot of us are doing virtual care now, so if you're doing phone visits, maybe do those standing up and walk around during some of the phone visits if you have that capability as well, as that'll help us to be a little bit more active. And there's many strategies you guys can probably think of to help add a little bit more physical activity into your day. And especially right now during some times of increased stress and anxiety, maybe just brainstorming and getting creative, as aerobic exercise has a really positive benefit for being able to manage this added stress and continuing to provide positive care for the patients that we serve. Thanks for everything that you do for our patients in our community, and stay safe and stay healthy.